Namaskaram. Before I start this video, let me tell you this. If you're an audiologist or a speech language pathologist or someone who wants to know how to get a SLP job or an audiologist job in US from India, then this video is for you. If not, you can skip the video. So a quick background. So I'm someone who did a master's and bachelor's in the field of speech and hearing from India, but currently working in US. So I've been getting a lot of calls from my friends, my college mates, asking about how can I get a job in the field of speech and hearing in US if I studied from India. So I was looking online to share information. Sadly, there's little to no information online to share to them. That's when I decided, okay, let me just gather some information and share it to people. Before I talk about the topic, let me clear something. So I'm just sharing the information, what I know from my experience, or the information I collected from my coworkers, also the information I collected from my friends who actually work in the field of speech and hearing in US and different states. So if I'm wrong or if you know more information, you can always share in the comment section. Now let's jump into the topic. So when you're looking for a work visa or an immigrant visa, US, the United States of America, is one of the toughest countries to come to. So just last year itself, more than 7 lakh people applied for the H1B visa. The H1B visa is the work visa, and the US government can only provide or grant 85,000 visas every year. Out of that 85, only 65,000 visa is granted to the people from outside the US. This is just to tell you how hard is it to just get the job or to move to US. Now, when it comes to our field, we have the speech pathologist jobs and then we have the audiologist jobs. So first I'm going to talk about the speech pathologist jobs. In US, all the new graduates from the speech language pathology program, when they apply for a job, they have to apply or they have to do a 1 year of clinical fellowship. So first time when they apply, they are applying for SLP-CF. So speech language pathology clinical fellowship program. That's a 1 year program. You have to complete that to get your state license. It doesn't matter whether you're moving from India or we are applying from US. Even if you have 5 years experience from India, it doesn't matter. Even if you have experience from India, when you're applying to US for the SLP jobs, you have to do 1 year of clinical fellowship. Now, one of the first and main question I get from people who actually contact me is the education from India is good enough to work in US? And the answer is yes. But you have to have masters. You have to have, it doesn't matter whether you have MSc speech or MASLP. As long as you have masters in speech language pathology, yes, that education is good enough and it is valid in US. The next most common question I get is, how can I get a job in US? So the answer to that question is 2 parts. The first one, you can apply through the agency. For instance, if you don't have a visa or if you are not already in US or if you are not coming to US with your husband or wife, then you have to apply through the agency so that you can get the visa and the job. And the second part is, if you are already in US or if you already have a dependent visa or if you're coming to US with your husband or wife, you can just apply to the institution directly. You don't have to go through the agency. And the next most common question I get is, what are the paperworks or the procedures involved in this? So the paperworks and the procedures are all depend on how you apply for the job. So if you apply to the agency, it's different. If you apply directly, it's different. So first we'll talk about applying directly. You can only apply to jobs directly, like schools or hospitals or clinics, if you already have a US visa. So if you're already in US as a dependent, or if you already have a visa, or if you're coming to US after marriage, you can always apply directly. And the process is much more easier. So the first thing you have to do is something called a credential evaluation. So basically there are agencies where you send your paperwork, like your transcript and your syllabus and all. So they will compare your education, your master's degree from India to the master's degree in US and see whether it's equal. So that's called a credential evaluation. So you get a credential evaluation certificate, okay? The second thing what you have to do is you have to get the ASHA membership and the ASHA approval to start the clinical fellowship. All right. The third thing is, once you get the approval from the ASHA and the credential evaluation, you have to apply for the jobs directly. For instance, if you are applying for a school, apply for the job. That's the third step. Once you get that job, then you have to apply and get the SLP intern license. Okay, speech language pathologist or speech therapist intern license. That you have to apply to the state where you are actually going to work. Okay, and the last step is passing the praxis. Praxis is an exam. It's a speech language pathology exam. You pass that to get the actual state license, and to get the ASHA CCC, the clinical competence certificates. Okay. Again, so like I said, the first one is credential evaluation. Second step is ASHA's approval and the membership. The third one is applying directly and getting a job. Once you get the job, then you apply for the speech language pathology intern license. And the last one is within that 1 year of clinical fellowship, you can actually clear your praxis. After doing the 1 year of clinical fellowship, you send all your paperwork to the states again and get your actual license. So every state is different. So I work in Texas, so every state has their own rules. So some states doesn't need the ASHA membership or the praxis. All right, so that's something you had to find out based on which states you are actually applying for. Now, if you need a visa to come to US or for work, then you have to apply through the agency. There's no other way. You cannot just be in India and apply directly to the institutions like schools or hospitals or clinics in US. The good thing about agencies, they'll help you out with all the process and paperwork, but the paperwork can take really long time. And the process and the paperwork is kind of same like applying directly. The first thing is, again, credential evaluation. And one thing I forgot to tell you, when you do the credential evaluation, you have to make sure that you are actually choosing a credential evaluation center which is approved by ASHA. Because there are different centers who does it, and some of them are not approved by ASHA. So, but if you contact ASHA, they'll give you more information on that. So again, credential evaluation. Second thing, since you're applying for a visa, you have to either clear IELTS or TOEFL. Third thing is you apply for ASHA to get the approval for clinical fellowship and the membership. And the fourth thing is getting the visa screen certification. And the fifth thing is you have to apply to the state where you are going for work or applying for work and get the intern license. And the last thing is passing the praxis. But like I said again, when you are applying through the agency, they'll help you out with the process and everything. So that's much more easier. Now I will talk about how to become an audiologist in US. So it doesn't matter whether you have the master's or bachelor's from India in audiology. You cannot work as an audiologist in US with your education. In 2007, the minimum requirement to be an audiologist in US was changed from master's to AUD, the Doctor of Audiology. So if you only have master's from India, and if you want to work as an audiologist in US, you have to come here and do either the Doctor of Audiology program, which is the AUD program, or you have to do the bridge program so that you can complete the AUD program. Now let me tell you what are the documents you require. That's one of the most important things when you're applying, whether it's through the agency or directly. So the first thing is transcript. You have to have the college transcript and the university. But in my case, I only use the college transcript, but I would recommend get both of them. Second thing what you need is the CPC, the Clinical Practicum Certificate. Make sure you have minimum hours, what is required by ASHA. And the third thing what you need is the syllabus, what you study. And the next thing is you need the marks card, then the degree certificate. And these were the documents what I used. If you guys have more information, you can share. Now, many of you are going to ask me, which are those agencies who hire SLPs from India to US? There are few who does that, but I'm not affiliated to them or I'm not a part of them. So I cannot then give you their names or contact information through the video. But if you need their names and the contact information, you can contact me at this WhatsApp number. I'll share it to you guys. But again, once I share the information to you guys, it's up to you whether you contact the agency or get the job. I'm not a part of them. I'm just making this video so that you know how the system works here. All right. Finally, if you think the video was helpful, you can share it in your college groups, your speech and hearing groups, or to anyone you think this might be a help. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel. And depending on the response to this video, everybody likes it, or if you need something, I'll make follow-up videos about different setups where the speech pathologist and audiologist work in the US and how much they make and their salaries as well. I hope this was helpful for at least one person. Thank you.